woman doesn't respect you, Mom. She walks all over you. She manipulates you, blah, blah, whatever. She's my friend. Because the thing that my aunt, who has cancer, because we were talking in the car and I was telling her, like, you know, this woman is getting all these packages at my mom's house because this woman can't get packages where she's living. Supposedly she's afraid the package will be stolen or whatever. And I know my mom is perturbed and a little peeved about all these packages she got when I came up from the mall the other day. And there were 7 packages sitting on the steps. And mind you, this is when I'd already heard my mom on the phone, and Mom told me that there were no more packages coming in. And my mom's enabling this woman. She's a shopaholic. She always complains she has no money. She wants to borrow money from my mom, yada yada, whatever. And meanwhile, she spends all her money. So anyway, my aunt, little did I know that I'm preaching to the choir here, because my aunt, who has cancer, who drove my mother and I to the store, grocery store, where I proceeded to spend $200. But I stocked up on a lot of stuff because we had a car, and usually we go in the van for the elderly that my mom has access to. She's allowed to take because she's elderly and doesn't have a car. Yet I was going for a while, and then a new driver was like, you need to find out if she, you know, he doesn't want to get in trouble. He wants to dot all his I's and cross all his T's. So sure, I can go. I can go if I fill out tons of paperwork. It's not worth it. The aunt who has cancer, you know, lives close by. She can drive me to the grocery store, and my mom decided to go with me. But I'm telling my aunt who has cancer, you know, a few things, and you know, it's not like I call her up and bug her all the time. Because later my mom's like, you shouldn't burden her with that. I'm like, Mom, no, if I have to censor what I'm saying or can't say whatever, then what's the point, you know? I was preaching apparently to the choir because apparently my aunt actually had words with this woman that I don't care for. She didn't like how that she witnessed this woman treating my mother. Neither my mother nor I want this, for different reasons, want this woman to, maybe for some same reasons, because I do worry about my mom, and she's easily manipulated by her friends. She's my friend. I don't want the woman coming over here. The woman not only, you know, is taking advantage of my mom having all her packages coming in. She doesn't just get packages once in a while. She's a shopaholic. She has tons of storage units. She has no money, but she pays for all these storage units to keep all her stuff. It's just insane, and my mom's enabling her by letting her get all her stuff here. She's been doing it for a long time, okay? She put her foot down, my mom, apparently, and then the woman was like, well, I'll come over and get my stuff. I don't want you here. And then my mom feels bad because the woman doesn't understand, well, why don't you want me here? And, well, for one thing, we don't want the woman to see that I have a computer sitting there. The woman can't know my mother has money, can't know I have money, because if I have money and I'm helping out my mom, then my mom has, you know what I mean? Those kinds of people. They're not really your friends. Now, what I do need to say, though, is that I get, quote-unquote, get but she's my friend that I get from my mom. Because my aunt said in the car, and I quote, to my mother, you know, and she started to cry, but my aunt has cancer and could die, you know, so she's always been like that, where she'll say that she's going to cry or whatever. She's very sensitive. And, but in a lot of ways, but she can be ignorant in other ways, and we'll get to that unless my memory runs out on the camera. She says to my mom, when I brought this stuff up, you know, and she tells me her side, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I was feeling that way from 3,000 miles away. My mom would just tell me on the phone what this woman was doing, okay? But my mom's going to have compassion, because this woman, for these mentally ill people, you know, she met this woman at this place where she is now, you know, and she met that other woman that who I can't stand, you know, via being mentally ill, okay? Wait. You normal people who might be watching this need to understand that if my mother's mentally ill, she's going to have more compassion and probably want to hang around mentally ill people, you know. So it's a slippery slope here, because some of these people, you know. So anyway, my aunt who has cancer, who's not mentally ill in the slightest, okay? She was always the normal one. She was my second mother when my mother was locked up in the nut house repeatedly when I was a little girl. says to my mother, you know how badly it hurt me? And she's crying a little bit, you know. She's like, you care more about this woman's feelings than my feelings because you care, you know, I don't like how she's treating you, but you stay her friend, you know. You care more about her feelings than you do about mine. And then she added me in, and then, or you do about your daughters, right? So 2 more packages came yesterday, UPS, where we have to sign for them, you know, and I was angry once again. And I said, you know, why can't you just, and then she says, I'm going to have her come over here, because the woman also is such a bossy person that she called here the other day and she's missing a package. So you have to understand, it's not just my mom's being nice and letting this woman get packages here sometimes. This woman is a shopaholic. She has a serious problem. My mom's an enabler, letting her get all her packages here because she probably would order less packages if she didn't have the convenience of having my mom protect the packages. Okay? My mom lives in a community where likely the packages are not going to get stolen. But what if they did? Why should my mom be responsible? We came home late after 7, Monday night, from the mall. 7 packages sitting on my mom's steps. Okay? My mom was furious. I was furious. Just for my mom and for, you know, because I don't like my mother, to see my mother being treated this way by her quote-unquote friends. And I do point out my mother's other friend. I'm like, that woman there's supposed to be give and take in friendship, Mom. She has a car, you go out with her, you have fun, you guys go to a restaurant, you pay your share, you know, you pay food, go to a movie, you know what I mean? But when my aunt says, you know, they're not your friends, they're users. And my aunt apparently at one time even stuck up, you know, didn't like how this woman was treating my mother. This woman honed in on the fact, because I guess they went to some church group or something, and this woman had never said boo, but then when she found out that my mother had the same counselor as she did, then it's like, I guess it's just like men can prey upon women like me who have been abused and are extremely vulnerable and filled with low self-esteem galore and whatever. It's the same thing. This woman, you know, could hone in on the fact that my mother would be easily manipulated or whatever, but my aunt wouldn't stand for it. But what my aunt doesn't understand and will never understand is that, oh, my aunt was mentioning X, Y, and Z. You know, they've been friends forever. X and Y have been friends with man who has cancer forever. Used to be friends with my mom. You gotta understand, people, when you're quote-unquote mentally ill, you're different than the quote-unquote normal people. Although, in my opinion, some of the normal people are less normal than they like to believe themselves, like to, you know, believe they are, or view themselves as being, or whatever you want to call it, you know. They believe themselves to be. But that's another story. So, yeah, my aunt would say the extradition. I got it. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Mom, I don't want her over here, please. My mom was even saying, and then my mom was saying before, well, I can't just tell her she can't come over here because my aunt with the cancer, why don't you just put the stuff in the front lawn and have her come get it? I can't do that. She's my friend. She's my friend. I talked to her at church. I talked to her at the place my mom is at now, right? But the woman stopped going to the place my mom is at now. My mom takes a van over there. It's for only mentally ill people.